Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Simply Lily. Today I'm going to be making these beautiful floral and polka dot pouches. I've been obsessed with making these pouches. I've made them into pencil cases. If you want to see how I've made these, keep on watching. First, you'll need some swatches, a zipper, scissors, and some liner. I got all these products from Amazon.com and they'll be linked below. So the first thing we're going to be doing is just figuring out what swatches we want to use. You're going to use 4 different patterns, 2 for the outside and 2 for the inside. The liner is going to be used between your inner and outer layer to give the pouch some structure. So I'm just going to be picking out the ones that I want for now. While I have you guys here, please go give this video a like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I have been getting so much feedback, so much comment from you guys, and some tips and tricks as well as ideas for upcoming videos that you guys want to see. So if you guys have any ideas of videos you'd like for me to do, any reviews and stuff, please leave a comment in the comment section and I will make sure I respond to you guys and I will make sure I do those videos. I do have one video coming up that was recommended from one of my subscribers. She wanted to see a Centro pants and I'm currently working on it. So just stay tuned for that. But for now, please like, comment, and subscribe and let's keep going with this video. All right, now that I have all of the swatches that I want for my pouch, I am going to work on cutting out a infuser or interface. I call it infuser sometimes. It's widely known as an interface. I'm going to cut this down just at least in half an inch, the size of my swatches here. I believe these swatches are about, I want to say an 8x8 or a 6x8. I can't quite remember, but it'll all be in the description. But yes, I'm going to cut these down to be just a half an inch less than my current swatch. That's because I want to have the half an inch space for sewing and sewing all of these panels together. I've made a lot of these pouches as you've seen in the beginning of this video, and I did work with my interface all the way to the end. So I cut out my interface to be the exact size of my panel. It worked out fine. Nothing was wrong with it. I found that the interface made the material a little bit too thick. And so it was a little bit frustrating to have my sewing machine just make a little bit of noise. So I just made sure that this time around I cut my interface just a half inch less. So here I'm cutting out a second interface because you need 2 for both sides of your pouch. And again, it should be about a half an inch of space on your overall panel. So you just want this to be in the dead center of your panel or your swatch, whatever you want to call it, so that you could sew it on. Not sew it, my bad. Interface, these are iron-on interfaces. So to fuse it onto your swatch or your panel, you want to make sure that you cut it just a half inch all around so that it's just in the very center of your swatch like this. All right. And now that we have our both panels, we're just gonna go ahead and start to fuse these together by ironing it on. I don't really have a specific temperature. I don't know if these interfaces recommend a particular temperature, but you just want to go over it a couple times. Make sure you infuse it straight so it doesn't have any ripples. And I oftentimes do it on the other side as well to help me out to add more heat to that interface so that it's fused appropriately. Now that I have it on both of my panels, I'm just going to combine all of my swatches together to kind of give me an idea of what I want. I do want to have an invisible-esque zipper, so we will be folding down each side of our swatches here so that it is invisible. I use the iron to help me to keep those panels down. Usually I would use sewing pins to keep them down, but in this case I just want to iron them to keep them down because I don't want to have to pin them all around. We will end up using pins to keep them attached to the zipper, but for now we're just going to fold the ends over and iron them down, iron them down so that they are stuck in this position for sewing. Now that I have both my panels and their sides sewn down, I'm just going to line them up with my zipper. I want to have a sort of invisible zipper effect on my pouches, so I want to line them up before I start to pin them to the actual zipper, so that I have like a good idea of how it should look before I pass it under the sewing machine. All right, so now that I have an idea of where I want it to be, I'm gonna just start to put on my pins so that they keep the swatch right where I need it to be on my zipper, so that when I'm sewing, I don't knock it out of place or have the zipper slide and then create a little bit of a mess for me. This is a very beginner friendly project, so it doesn't matter what mistakes you make. As long as you follow the steps in this video, you should be fine. All right, now we're gonna put our one panel side underneath the sewing machine. The footer that I have here is specifically designed for zippers and getting your fabric as close as possible to your zipper to give it that invisible zipper effect. Unfortunately, I put my pins on the wrong way than I'm used to feeding it under my sewing machine, so it became a little bit of a chore kind of removing them as the needle went, but it wasn't really that bad. It was just a little bit of an inconvenience to have it be removed this way, but it worked out nonetheless. So you just keep feeding it under until you've sewn one long line all the way down to the end, and then you do a couple of back stitches on your sewing machine. The back stitches keeps it in place and gives you a more secure finish so that your project doesn't unravel. All right, now that we're finished, we're just going to use our scissors and cut our thread off. And then this is what we have, a beautiful line that secures our first panel to our zipper. And this is a back portion, looking good. And now to do the other side. All right, so this side came out fairly well. I did put the pins in the right direction this time around. I think there was an exception of one that I didn't, but that's okay as long as you put them in a way that you don't accidentally stick yourself and it doesn't create a little bit of a tedious task for you to do. So we're just going to sew along the edge of our second panel here and secure that on our zipper and finalize our project by closing the other 3 ends of this project. At the very end of sewing on the zipper, because my zipper was insanely long, I believe the zippers that I got from Amazon were specifically for clothing or some other project that requires a long zipper like this. But I will also link below zippers that would fit this pouch exactly, so you don't have to cut it. I hate having to cut my zippers, but sometimes, unfortunately, the project calls for you to do so. I had to do some stitches on my zipper that would secure the zipper from breaking apart for when I cut this zipper. You don't necessarily have to cut the zipper. I did just because of the length. But here it is. I'm going to just do some stitches on my zipper and just close it. I did it on the actual fabric because that's the part that it's going to get sewn in, and that part won't be seen. So I did a couple of stitches there just to secure my zipper for when I finalize the pouch. So here you have the panels sewn perfectly and my stitch there to keep my zipper from breaking apart once it gets zipped all the way down. And now I'm going to put pins all along the ends to secure that for when it gets fed under my sewing machine. I'm sorry, my cord is in the way here, but it doesn't affect the video. One thing I will say is that you need to unzip the zipper before you finish all 3 sides. That has been an accident that I've done a couple of times where I forget to unzip the zipper and then I end up locking myself out of my project, but I end up finding a way to get the zipper unlocked so that I can still use my functioning project. So just an FYI, please, before you secure all your ends with the pins, unlock or unzip your pouch because you don't want to zip it. You don't want to keep it zipped up and then sew all your sides together and lock yourself out of your project because we need this project to organize stuff. I specifically made this particular pouch for scissors. I have so many scissors. I buy scissors on vacation. I end up buying scissors for a new project and stuff. And so I have like 10 scissors in my house. And so I really wanted to keep them organized. This is probably not the best way, but I figured I had fabric, I had zippers. I have an active scissor storage problem because they're all over the place. So why not create a pouch for my scissors, right? So here you have it. I finished sewing this all the way up. Well, not sewing, but pinning this all the way up on all sides. And here is where I realized I hadn't unzipped my pouch yet. And so I just started unzipping it in a way that it would not lead to me being locked out. All right, and so we're just gonna start sewing all the rest of the sides all around so that we can close up our project and have a beautiful pouch. I just want to stress the fact that you don't need to go super fast on your sewing machine. on this, especially if you're a beginner or just looking for a project to do. I've had my sewing machine for almost 10 years and I haven't used it in years. And so it's hard to get back into. So just go slow, take your time, relax. All right, and here we have our beautiful pouch. It looks amazing even on the inside with all the different colors and it being folded over. As you can see, my excess zipper is there, and so I'm gonna cut that off. I didn't really have to, but I did. And now you just pull your pouch inside out. You want to push on each end so that you could get them to poke out as well. I ended up using my scissors because I really couldn't get some of the ends to pop all the way out like they should, because we did, you know, square stitching. And so we want to have like a square pouch, you know. So I had to use my scissor to really push the pouch out there. And I went back later on to get the bottoms to stop curving like they are right now. But this is what you have. You have a beautiful functioning pouch that is for organizing. Again, I use this for my scissors right now because I really needed some organization for my scissors. The only downside of this is that I have so many of these pouches that are different colors and I got to remember which one is for what. Anyway, thank you guys so much for sticking with me. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.